I don't know why anyone would ever want to pick their own TBR ever again, because seriously. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to reveal the winners of my 2020 TBR tournament. So I had tons of ideas for this video, and yet when it got down to the wire, I just decided to sit down and chat and reveal these winners. I did try to get fancy for you. I haven't worn this much makeup in 5 weeks, and I put on my best black hoodie. So there's that. You're welcome. So this ends 2 weeks of crazy video posting and getting your comments, getting your feedback. I really appreciate you not only taking the time to weigh in and pick your book selections, but also watching all of these videos that I put out in the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to reveal the winners to you in each of the 4 genre categories, and then tell you, my reactions to your selections. First, I'm going to do nonfiction. This was crazy. And it was probably crazy because, I don't read or talk about a lot of nonfiction on this channel. And so I couldn't have assumed or guessed how people would decide to vote, which book they would decide to vote for. So it went back and forth, and they were very close each round. The finals included Death's Acre and Columbine, and those 2 books did strong throughout, and then their finals, neck and neck. So we ended up with a vote of 5-4. Your winner for nonfiction is Columbine. This book is the accumulation of investigative reporter Dave Cullen's research into the event, the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. And it's one of the books that's a go-to if you're interested in this kind of subject matter. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I spoke a little bit about why this was in the TBR tournament at all. And I'm just interested in delving a little bit deeper into this phenomenon and deciding what I can do when raising my own children and being part of a school system again to prevent or respond to incidents like those in the future. So thank you to those of you who voted for Columbine. I am so sorry to those of you who voted for Death's Acre. Like I said, it was close. It was a 5-4 vote, and I would have loved to read that book as well. Don't give up hope. I'm sure I will get to it eventually. Next, I'm going to go into romance, because romance throughout this tournament received the fewest amount of votes. I'm not shocked. I think that it could have received more votes if I hadn't posted the romance videos last in each round. I think that when romance and nonfiction go head to head, I probably have more viewers that are interested in romance than interested in nonfiction. But nonfiction videos were always posted on Mondays, the romance always on Thursdays, and I close voting on Sundays. So yeah, it didn't work out well for the romance, but I will say this. I did get feedback. I am happy with the feedback I received. This was a blowout category. For the finals, Well Suited went up against My Favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren, and with a vote of 6-1, your winner for 2020 TBR Tournament's romance category is Well Suited by Stacey Hart. So if you'll recall, this book is about a one-night stand that results in an unplanned pregnancy, and the child's mother is really not interested in having a long-term relationship with the child's father, but the child's father is very interested in starting a long-term relationship and sharing responsibility and being with the mother forever, I think. But he's going to try to court the mother of his child. So This was a self-pub romance novel. I'm really proud of it. To beat out a Christina Lauren novel in the finals is significant. I don't know if it's because viewers have read My Favorite Half Night Stand and they weren't really impressed, or if people have the same issues with Christina Lauren that I do, where sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not entirely sure, but so I got to give it to the little guy in this scenario. Well suited, beat out, mega popular Christina Lauren for the romance title. Most of all, I'm just really hoping that I find a romance author that I like. I mean, this is book 4 of a series of books by this author, and if I had any goal or any expectation or any hope or whatever you want to call it for reading this book, it would be that Stacey Hart turns out to be a great writer that I can go to for other entertaining romance reads in the future. Now, horror and mystery thriller got the same number of votes in the finals round. I don't know what that information necessarily means. I just find it interesting because typically mystery thriller, any kind of videos that I post about mystery thriller get the most views and the most feedback. I will say though that like horror book hauls, like book hauls that I do that are specific to horror, are super popular. So I know there's folks out there that are interested in the content. In this case, I'm going to do the horror reveal first because I'm a jerk like that, and I have a feeling that you guys are really interested in the thriller reveal. So in the horror finals, The Hunger by Alma Katsu went up against The Art of Dying by Derek Cavagnano. And The Art of Dying, self-pubbed, won a couple of awards for horror. It was a favorite because not a lot of people had heard about it, and so they were super excited. On the other hand, The Hunger received a lot of attention because it is well known. There is a lot of hype. Other people have it on their TBR shelves, and they're interested to know what I think of it. So it was not a close race. Nonfiction was the closest. The mystery thriller was the next closest race, and then horror. So winning with a 10-4 vote is The Hunger by Alma Katsu. I'm really excited about this. This is an alternative take on the tragedy of the Donner Party when the Western United States was being pioneered. Looks like 1846, so 180 years ago. The Donner Party was very much real. However, Alma Katsu has taken the tragedy of their story. Instead of the tragedy just being about a set of circumstances, the author has inserted a supernatural villain to make it into this horror novel. And finally, I'm going to reveal to you my mystery thriller winner for this TBR tournament. Hangman went up against the Chestnut Man. And Hangman was my number 1 pick for the mystery thriller category. And if I'm being perfectly honest with you, it probably was my number 1 pick for this entire tournament. Now, in mystery thriller, I did really well in the first round when I eliminated books based on their Goodreads rating. All 4 of the books that moved on to the semifinals were my top 4 ranked books for that genre. So at that point, I won. I was a winner in no matter which book advanced and which book got chosen. And actually, while we're on the subject, Columbine was number 5 in the nonfiction category. Well Suited was number 3 in the romance category. And The Hunger was number 3 in the horror category. So again, in mystery thriller, Hangman was number 1 and Chestnut Man was number 4. What I learned as we progressed through the tournament is that there are a lot of the Chestnut Man fans out there. There are a lot of folks that want to see me read the Chestnut Man. And there are a lot of people who read it and liked it. There are a lot of people who want to read it but aren't quite ready to without hearing others' opinions on it first. This one was nerve-wracking for all 14 for all 14 votes. So the winner, 8-6, is Hangman by Jack Heath, my number one ranked book in the mystery thriller category. I know there were a couple of you that voted for it because you knew how excited I was to read this book, because it was probably playing on my face every time that I talked about it. So thank you to those of you who were empathetically voting. I hope that nobody's disappointed. I know that there were a lot of people out there who were interested in hearing what I think about the Chestnut Man. I'll get to it as soon as I can. But this one has been calling to me for a long time. This is the story of an FBI consultant who does great work and helps save people, but has this little thing where every time he saves a life, he has to take a life. So really excited to read this. Really excited to read the second one if the first one is good. And hopefully, you know, I had mentioned Jack Heath commented on the video when I think that I hauled this. Hopefully I can report to him how much I like it. So we shall see. But here are your winners for the TBR Tournament 2020. I really had a great time, an absolute great time. In fact, you know, I can never tell you what's going to happen in the future, but if everything goes well, if everything is the same or better this time next year, then I would like to do a TBR tournament every March, since it is historically a pretty famous time for tournaments, if you know what I'm saying. So I would like to do a book. So I would like to do this again, a TBR tournament every March. I've also had it suggested, Angie, one of my lovely subscribers, has also suggested that I do something similar with ebooks, considering my ebook library is just out of control. You know, ebooks are great. They're convenient. They're cheap. They're all of those wonderful things. But to a busy person like myself, an ebook library is kind of out of sight, out of mind. You know, you buy these books and then it's a digital file sitting on a digital device. You don't see it. It's not in your face. I probably have some phenomenal ebooks on my Kindle that need to be read, but because I don't see them every day, because I don't peruse them as I'm walking through my house, I can't even tell you what they are. So Angie did suggest that maybe I do a TBR tournament with ebooks only, and I'm giving that some serious thought, but I want to throw that out there to you guys. Are you interested in something like that? I don't think I would do it right away. Obviously I have a ton of books to read, guys, okay? In case you hadn't heard up to this point, the Pick My Book winner for April was the set of books by Linwood Barclay. I gave you guys a choice of authors to pick from instead of specific books. And whichever author won, I would read the books that I owned by that author. So I think 5. I think it's 5. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The last 2 weeks, between working and trying to live this quarantine life and filming and posting 8 videos in 2 weeks, like, I haven't got a ton of that reading done yet. So I've got a lot of Linwood books to read. Yes, I do. I'm almost done with the first one, but it's April 19th. So I need to get cracking on that. And then obviously I have these 4 books to read after that. And surprise, surprise, stay tuned for Thursday's video, because I have to do a Pick My Book for May, and that Pick My Book I've decided is going to be a wild card from this tournament. I'm going to go back through the books that didn't advance, that didn't move on, that maybe didn't even win the first round, and I'm going to present you guys with a set of options to choose from for my May Pick My Book. So I got a ton of Linwood Barclay to read. I've got 4 winners from this TBR tournament, plus whichever wild card wins for the regular Pick My Book. So I'll have 5 books for May to read. I'm not foreseeing the ebook TBR tournament coming out anytime soon, maybe summer. But if you're interested in seeing something like that, or if you have any other ideas for how we can engage my ebook library, let me know. Or if you're just interested in this same format with a whole different set of books, we can do that too. I really like when you guys tell me what to do. You would not believe the amount of pressure that it takes off of my shoulders. It's amazing. I don't know why anyone would ever want to pick their own TBR ever again, because seriously. Thank you guys again so much for participating. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I know that I did. And I can't wait to read each one of these books and let you guys know what I think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.